This is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. I have no idea if I'm going to get any of the eyes right. Are you intimidated to try new techniques in your shop? Hey guys, I'm David with Southern Style DIY. I use these headphones when editing so that I don't wake up our toddler, and I want something unique to keep them out of the way when not in use. A Deadpool head. To avoid staining, I'm going to use some exotic hardwood. This will also give me the chance to learn how to power carve. Let's start by breaking down the lumber. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got about woodworking was to not be afraid to change plans mid-build if you think there's a better way to do something. And I'm not loving my initial plan for cutting out the eyes. I was going to do some temporary binding with some blue tape and CA glue. Instead, I'm going to glue together these 3 wingy blocks into one big block and these 3 Hadouk pieces into another big block, and then we'll cut out the eyes. It does add another step to the glue up, but I think this will give us much better results in the long run. I printed out this template and I'm going to attach it to the Hadouk with spray adhesive. That way I can just cut along the lines, cut out those eye holes, and then we'll move on to the wingy. We have the eye holes cut out, so now we need to clamp the wingy to the back so that we can mark the eyes that are going to fit into those holes. I'm going to do that with a combination of pencil and paint marker, and then we'll take it over to the bandsaw again, cut it out, refine the edge of the oscillating sander, and then hopefully get this into here. So that was scary, but thankfully it's only me in the shop, so nobody was hurt and it didn't actually hit anything. But I wanted to show you what I did wrong when I was sanding it, which is why it got away from me so quickly. What I did was I let this back edge connect, and that means that I was digging into the oncoming sandpaper. I dug a little bit too far, it grabbed that little bit and just flew it away from me. So don't do that, always sand on this side and try to keep pressure over here while I keep a bulk of the piece on the back. We have our rough Deadpool head ready, and we need to clean up both of these long edges so that after we glue a fresh template to the top and rough cut out the profile of the face, we can then hot glue both of those sides back on and adhere the profile template, cut all that, and then take off these hot glued edges. Our solid block of wood is looking slightly closer to a head thanks to the bandsaw, and we can move on to the most intimidating part of the project for me, power carving. Now, between you and me, I've never used real power carving accessories on a project of mine before. I've done power sanding in the past, but I was not happy with the results of that at all, and it took a really, really long time to do. So thanks to my friends at Kutzall, who I'll talk about a little bit later, for sending me all of these power carving accessories so that I could attempt to transform this block of wood into a Deadpool head. I'm gonna start with the angle grinder in this extreme shaping disc. I'm just gonna hog out a lot of these angles. Then I'll move on to the fine finish shaping disc to refine all of those before moving to the die grinder and to really get in a lot of those details. Huge thanks to my friends at Kutzall for sending me all the power carving accessories I needed to get started. I was honestly a little intimidated to learn how to power carve, but quickly gained confidence during the project using both the shaping discs and the rotary burrs. I'll have links down in the description for all the accessories I'm using. Thanks, Kutzall. The head is really starting to take shape thanks to our work with the angle grinder, but we're gonna move away from the angle grinder to a new tool to me, which is the die grinder. Similar to the angle grinder, this is traditionally a metalworking tool that, using some power carving bits, we're gonna transform into a woodworking tool. Now, I do have both the extreme version and the fine version of these die grinder bits. However, I do think I'm gonna use only the fine versions for now so I can really creep up on the details and not remove too much material, which I am a little bit worried about. I have a few different profiles that I'm gonna use of these die grinder bits, and that'll give us a little bit of a different result as we start creeping up on those details. So I realized I never talked about the plan for the eyes so that we can remove material but not remove too much, and we can start layering in those details. Let's take a look. Really, we want to make sure that we connect this top corner all the way down to this bottom corner. Then we just have to scope out a curve for the eye at the top, a little bit of a triangle at the bottom, and we'll just allow that to lie where it is on the side, and that gives the signature shape as far as I can get to it from the screenshot over there. Before we move on to the final shaping of the eyes, let me show you something. This inlay has a very tight glue seam. However, the front does not. In order to make that much less noticeable, we're gonna fill it with some epoxy that we're gonna tint to be close to the color of this wingy. While there are things I do want to continue to tweak on here, I'm going to stop on my head and not remove too much material and not be able to go back. Now we can move on to adding the whites of the eyes, hand sanding everything smooth, and then adding a really nice top coat to really make this pop. Yeah. I couldn't think of a better way to finish Deadpool than with a little bit of lust. For my first power carving project, I'm extremely happy with how Deadpool turned out. He's very unique, and now my headphones will always be ready for me and not constantly be stolen by a tiny human. I learned a ton from this project and really want to try incorporating power carving into more projects. If you have any advice for somebody who's new to power carving, or if there's something stopping you from giving it a try, let me know in the comments below. The maker community is a fantastic place for everyone to learn, so I'll see you in the conversation below.